What is up, YouTube? Herozin here, and this is my 6,900 hour base tour. So let's go ahead and get started and remove K mode and get our real gear on, because we don't need this pleb gear. What am I even wearing? Cloth? What is this? So yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of this and put this in here. And then throw on our Ascendant Vampire Eyes. Thank you, Wildcard, for the skins. And you know, we need a club, because everyone needs a club. So we're just going to go ahead and throw on our mix of Ascendant Ghillie and Ascendant Riot and go ahead and get started with the tour. As you can see, I extended the gates a little bit, but let's fly to the top and get a view at this beautiful monstrosity. And we're just about there. We're at the top. And wait, what? Whoa. Well, this is awkward. Yeah, it seems I've had some guests that put a little kink in my plans. So let's go ahead and start the video of them remodeling my base.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules, my life destroyed. A life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Fly up away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Can I be your superhero?
Yeah, it's our time to shine. Yo, that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Off, the speakers can't even handle me. Giving what I got, nobody's gonna drain my energy. And I will never stop, I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And though I am not going through life regretfully, I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than want some more job just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy, I'm getting forgotten souls, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your ball. I got squat, I fold, I'm not bought, I'm sold. My stock rocks, it's gold. Hey, knock, knock, me home. It's shit, talk to close. I ain't stopping though, it's hip-hop, you know. Or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping down, no, my pocket's grown. You can't stop the show, so get rockin' on. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. I'm taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. I'm taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't here to make friends. Yeah. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down, cause we're blowing up now. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down, cause we're blowing up. Hard words like a weapon, attack with no questions. In my own section and they still disconnected, cause their mind's been infected and they're filled with objection. Too filled for recollection, so we're losing all attention. They don't know I'm in contention, cause I'm gaining their attention. Cause I'm making a connection, lyricism and aggression got me feeling my ascension. In my passion, my profession, I'm attacking my obsession. Taking action and progressing, I go off on the enemy, that's what makes them scared of me. Make my plans carefully, then execute them daringly. They say I act recklessly, but that's why I'm effective. See, you can't predict my tendencies, I offer no transparency. Some people think I'm lost, others think I'll be a legend. I'm never gonna stop till I'm one above second. And my thoughts at the top, but my mind stay present. Don't let your dreams stop, cause dreaming is a blessing. They tell me all the same, told me I won't make a name. But it's not about the fame, it's about keeping me sane. So I stay within my lane, feel my blood pump through my veins, feel adrenaline, no pain. Welcome all to my dome.
And welcome to my Herozin 6900 hour base, the movie. And what you will see is the raid of my base that took place over the course of 2.5 to roughly 3 days. Not entirely or exactly sure on the time because of the lack of sleep this raid caused me, but over that time I got 19 hours of footage that I have condensed down to about 2 hours, plus me rambling on a bit at the end. Now, a few things I want to point out are the purple haters death count on the top, and Herozin's OMG Dino Alien Dragons glorious death count, which may be a lot higher at the end of this video, and the push indicator, since they were multiple pushes on my base over the course of this raid. And so the deaths I am counting for the purple haters, even though I'm sure and almost 100% positive that they definitely had help getting to them, and I'm going to be counting turret deaths on screen. Pretty much what I'm counting are deaths that show up on screen or in my tribe log during the recorded footage. Now, there was some PvP that happened that I did not get a chance to record over the raid, so I'm not going to be counting those. So it may show up in the tribe log in some of these clips, but I'm only going to be counting stuff that either happened by my turrets, by my dinos, or that I know I have killed, such as I dropped them and they hit the ground and I loot their body, or you know, some flaming accident, well, not really accidents, let's just say some time, or two dinos try to swim into lava, so you know, they had help trying to swim into lava. And as far as my deaths go, I'm going to be counting all of my on-screen deaths and some of my tribe log deaths that happened while I was not exactly online at the time. And so those are how the deaths are going to be allocated. And from that point on, we're going to get to what was going on before the raid happened and what was my strategy when it was in progress. And so just before the raid happened, I was in the ocean, just finished taming an anglerfish, was about ready to finish taming a plesio, was going to up my turret game by getting a whole bunch of pearls. Little did I know how much I actually needed those turrets, but I got a warning from a precision member, which is the alpha of the server, that a fob was being set up on the west side of my base near a rock face, and so, or on top of a rock face, or cliff side I should say. I pointed out later in the video, and I also cover more in depth of why I got involved in this, or how I got involved in this I should say. And so at that point I was like, oh no, that's not good. Why are they setting up a fob near my base? That's not good. Okay, so I immediately swam up to the top of the surface, jumped on my pterodon, and flew back to my base, which I got to my base roughly 5 minutes before their onslaught actually started to take place, or I should say their meat run. And I managed to get my Giganotosauruses, or Gigas, from the inside of my inner gates to the outer perimeter. And so I had my westwardly Gigas on aggressive, or I tried to at least. The lag started to get pretty intensive as soon as I started trying to move stuff. I don't know what exactly was going on at the server, but it progressively got worse as the horde got closer to my base. I should call them the purple haters, which will make sense later on in the video. But and so I was trying to get all of them situated before my base was actually under siege, before the enemy were literally at my gates. And I got all of my westwardly Giga pretty much ready to go, or so I thought. They were all on aggressive, or so I thought, and they were grouped onto a center passive Giga, and they were all bunched together to create what I tried to create, a ball of death, hate, and destruction. And then I went over to my eastwardly Gigas and tried to get them on the outside. Now my plan originally was to have them fight my westwardly Gigas as they blow into the base, and then use my eastwardly Gigas to come and try to flank them on the northeast side of them. And so that's kind of where the video starts, where you see them marching towards the west portion of my base, and then I fly over to the east side. Now I did have the alpha come help me, which was a little bit of a surprise, and so it was kind of really awesome of them to come and help me. They didn't have to at all. I was on good terms with the alpha of the server, which is Precision, which is the enemy of the purple haters. And so they were technically on the server to fight Precision. Now, as I said earlier, you do not need a reason to attack somebody on an official PvP server. So them hitting my base, really, they could have just been like, look at that big purple base that really needs a lot more turrets. I wonder if he's in the water taming an angler so he could get, oh well, let's hit it right now. And so they came to help, instead of just sitting back and laughing as their enemy attacked some solo player's base, and as their enemy wasted time and resources doing that. So it was really awesome of them to come help me. Again, I was a little surprised, but I was on good terms with them. So the fact that they came and helped me and showed such support in helping me defend my base is really awesome. And so I did get another tribe to come and help me after, later in the pushes on my base, but I'll go over that a little bit later. And so my strategy really ended up failing, simply because, as you saw, I had to switch a lot of my Gigas or gigas, from high follow distance to low follow distance. Again, I did not have a lot of time to prep before they actually hit my base, and so I was able to get my westerly gigas in a position to where they could actually attack. Did not go so well for them. They ended up dying very gloriously for me, going out like champs. But my easterly gigas were a little bit more of a problem, so I just flew over to my westerly gigas to make sure they were attacking, and they were. And they were getting completely outmatched by the purple haters dinos. So, and the fact that the purple haters brought a U-Tyrannus did not help things at all. The U-Tyrannus was 100% overkill. And so by the time I got my easterly gigas over there, as you saw, my westerly gigas were pretty much all dead. And so the fact that I'm a solo player means I have to divide my time between building, taming, farming, and maintaining my base. And my dinos are definitely not the best dinos out there. And so, as they've said in the chat, it pretty much was a meat run. Now, as far as the chat is concerned, I have blocked out my own Steam name just because, not that I'm trying to hide it, I just don't want to publicize it. And I also blocked out some of Precision's players or members' Steam names just because I don't know if they want them displayed or not. Now, if they talked in global, I did not bother with that. Again, it was just if they were talking in alliance, yada yada. Not sure if they wanted to keep that personal or whatever. And so I try to keep the chat as unedited as possible. You might have to pause it a few times to read it, as the footage has been sped up quite a bit. So that was certainly interesting. Now, the tribe that came later was Carebears, which is also the main enemy of the purple haters. The war was really between Carebears and the purple haters. I'll get into that at the end of the video on my ramblings. But they came and helped me, which was really the huge surprise, because really I had no contact with them whatsoever. They were Precision's ally, and I was an ally of Precision. So to me, Carebears was an ally of an ally, and to them, I was an ally of their ally. So the fact that they were like, oh, let's go help your ally out, instead of being like, oh, we don't care if they're attacking your ally. When they start attacking you, then we'll come help you, was really awesome that they came to help me. So again, shout out to Precision for your help and helping me defend my base, and a shout out to Carebears and those guys that came to help me defend my base. That was really awesome of you, and so thank you for that. I know it was not the easiest thing to do. I did try to give Precision dinos when the attack was first going down, as you see in the video. I tried to transfer some gigas over to them, simply because the attack was so spontaneous that they really did not have time to march dinos over. So they were just straight up heading to my base, trying to do what they could, and not having access to any of my dino gates and not being able to use my base completely as they would their own base made defense for them pretty difficult. And there was a lot of issues for me as well. They were having issues with certain spots of my base that I had to go open, and just things like that. And so if you see me occasionally wander off doing random stuff, it's usually because I was asked to go do something. And so that is pretty much that. And now that brings me to this portion of the video, Arc Drama Evolved, where there were some misconceptions on the purple haters' part of whose base they were actually attacking. So with that broken sentence / paragraph, I think I set the record straight with the responses they ended up giving me, which were quite amusing. Now, I don't normally participate in the drama that is Arc chat, especially during PvP battles or a raid. made, and so I like to keep to myself, but I just think I needed to set the record straight, and I think I did that effectively. Now, I left this part in mostly to up my kill count during some active recorded PvP and to highlight some things. And so right now, Precision had just helped me fend off push 1. They just started getting dinos to my base, and there was talk of maybe pushing their fob. But the main thing against that was that they had the dinos, but not the riders to actually push their fob. So it wasn't looking like they were going to do it. And so I ended up saving one of my gigas, which is now my best giga, and that does come in handy later. So I just thought I'd show me tucking that away as a last hurrah when I ride that. And so another thing I want to highlight is I had a very annoying issue with my base since just roughly after my 3800 hour video, and I'll get into that at the end of the video. But as you see here, too many nearby structures, and I just show how far that range actually was restricting me as I tried to place it a little bit outside. And as you can see, too many structures. And there we go. I finally get to the edge of my perimeter, and I can finally build foundations on my Quetzal. And now, since there was no push on their fob, begins push 2 on my base.
Final God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And if you quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in it. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah I'm all that. Looking for that whip, yeah that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have him yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing. That's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing, and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
And so this portion of the video, I've decided to leave in some prep slash repair work, as the little icon on the bottom left hand of the screen is currently displaying my character doing. And so this isn't necessarily a highlight reel or a montage of epic PvP kills. This is a video of my base being raided by some mega tribes. So it's not necessarily the shortest thing, it's like about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, it's a thing. And so at this point in the video, they had just finished push 2. They had retreated back to their FOB or forward base of operations, and I was trying to repair the west satellite building, as they were very intent on trying to bring it down by taking out the pillars. Luckily, I had just done a metal run before all of this went down, and as I said, I was in the ocean, just finished taming an anglerfish, and the reason I did the metal run before was to make a whole bunch of turrets, but I didn't quite get to that, so I was able to use that metal instead, which was just sitting in my industrial forges to make spikes, pillars, and ceilings. So I wasn't necessarily out of resources as I normally am, and so it kind of worked out for the best, I guess. I don't know. I would prefer to use that metal to make turrets instead, but if it has to go to keeping a building standing, then sure, why not? And some fortifications, as I am going to be placing quite a bit of spikes for incoming pushes. So at this point, I was kind of like, how long is this going to take, as I had been up for quite a while. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start to pass out pretty soon. And so I started trying to fortify my base and make it as hard as possible, as I wasn't going to be on for very much longer during this. And which pretty much was going to mean my base was defenseless, as pretty sure Precision would have only stayed defending it if I was there. So I doubt they would have been able to, not that they wouldn't have been able to, but it would have been incredibly difficult without somebody that actually owns the base being there. So pretty sure they will have bailed, and so yeah. And so at this point, I was just trying to make my base as troublesome as possible, either for the next incoming push, or if I was going to log and have it just sit there. And so this is that portion of the video, just me going around trying to make as much of a headache as I could for them. But, it is what it is, and so yeah.
clouds at night was born to fight. Mythical, so mystical, think what you like. You could be the sword, the shield, defender of the people down below. You know I fall for love. You know I fall for love. You know I fall for love. Be kind to those around you, don't be merciless. Remember me, for my name is Perseus. While they move so fast, you could be the sword, the shield, defender of the people down below. You know I fall for love. You know I fall for love. You know I fall for love. Have your friends beside you like my Pegasus. Remember me, for my name is Perseus. My name is Perseus. My name is Perseus. My name is Perseus. Perseus.
And I am back for another prep slash repair portion of this video. You're probably thinking to yourself, what, another one? Yes, but this one is a little bit different, as not only am I prepping for their next incoming raid, but there's also talk. Plans have been drawn. Whispers have been whispered. There are now plans to push the Purple Haters fob. That's right. Precision is going to make a push on their fob. And what does that mean for me? Well, I'm going to try to help in whatever way I can, but my resources at this point are pretty slim, and my dinos are starting to become very non-existent. So what I was already doing, which was demoing behemoth gates on the west portion of my base that they already blown into, that were pretty much just standing there by themselves, and turning them into spikes. So I decided to turn some of those into dino doors, or just dino frames, should say. And I made a few of those, put them in a vault, and I had a precision member drop that vault down, and I was just storing stuff in there for them. I don't know exactly how many of them they ended up using, but it is as much as I could give them for the help that they were giving me. And so I was also trying to prep my base a little bit more for the incoming raid, if there was going to be another one. Yeah, there might be another one. And so then I was also trying to prep some stuff and gather kits that was so graciously given to me by my guest. And so the server was going to go down, and once it came back up, we were all going to, or I should say Precision, and I was going to follow them, was going to push. And so they got all their Brontos. They actually had the people this time, and they started to do a push on the Purple Haters fob. And so I kind of was just there trying to do what I could on my Quetzal, just flying around, try to knock people off of the cliff face right there. And then I was just pretty much waiting for the main push to go up and start their draining. And so we're going to skip ahead to that, and I'm just going to fly around, maybe get a pick or two, and then maybe get a little too zealous and get another Quetzal killed. Well, actually, this would be my second one during the raid that actually died while I was using it. And so there we go, dead, just gone. And so then I went to sniping, and I kind of am not the best sniper there is. I definitely don't do it enough to be good at it, but I try to poke things that may be annoying, such as pterodons, Quetzals. I try to take out some people running around, but again, definitely not the best sniper, especially with a long neck. Probably should have brought a fab or something. And so I did get some hits on the Quetzals though, and it was going pretty good for the most part, even though I can't really say this is of much help. Don't know really how much damage I was doing to any of the Purple Haters dinos, but it was definitely something. At least I participated somewhat. Definitely was more helpful in defending my own base, but that is a lot easier than trying to take out their fob with very limited dinos at this point. I would have went back with another Quetzal, but the Quetzals I had left at this point were pretty much just weight Quetzals and level 15s and 20s that are probably level 60s, simply because they were for them eggs, because I needed that Quetz kibble for those gigas. But now that's all I'm left with pretty much, is white Quetzals and my farm Quetzals. And so didn't really have much to go back with other than just a gun and some ammo. So my help on the push was not, I should say, very useful. But I did end up getting kind of a total and fully acknowledged kill still later on, but I'll talk about that when it gets closer to that. And so right now the push is going pretty good, and so, or pretty well I should say. And so Precision's all the way up on their fob pretty much, tanking those bullets, fighting those Brontos, and taking out whatever people are running around. And I'm trying to take out a Pterodon right there. And it's starting to get dark. And so now I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to where I switched to a little close combat with a compound bow. And I'm just running around trying to damage their Brontos, doing their little swing that they do. And there's going to be a certain Rex that's going to run out of theirs. It's going to have a bad time, a very bad time. And so right now I'm running around, just be like, hey, what's going on over here? Yada, yada. I think someone said something about, who's this? Wait, come back here. Where are you going? And then that guy just totally disappeared, or a girl, who knows. And go back to shooting those Brontos. And then there is going to be a Rex that wants to get a little, there it is. It's starting to get a little close, too close for comfort. So like, okay, start light into it. What are you doing? Wait, don't eat that Bronto. Come on. What are you doing? And then I just start pounding it as much as I can. And a gig is going to come up right now and start eating it. And I may totally, yep, there you go. I totally got it. Totally counts. Tribe doesn't lie. And so at this point, I got on a Pterodon. These are not good Pterodons, but I was just coming anyway because I got tired of running around with the compound bow, or mostly because I ran out of metal arrows. And so I tried to do what I could with the Pterodon, but mostly I just ended up flying around, and some stuff may have happened. I did find some guy trying to get to a Rex that had run off the cliff. And he kind of just DC'd in there. Wasn't a combat log or anything. And so, yep, that's what happens. I DC. And of course, they kill both myself and my Terra. And so I immediately jump on an Terra. Don't bother to get gear or anything. Just like, okay, these are suicide Terras at this point. And so I fly back immediately to get back into the combat. And I'm like, okay, there's some people. Start getting shot by turrets. I'm like, nope. And then, yep, I DC. And so at this point, the server is capped. And I spend a long time trying to get back in. And I end up falling asleep, as I had been up for a very, very long time. And I just couldn't stay awake anymore, which then leads to push 4. And so the raid on their fob ended up not going so well. And they got through the tech shield they had up. And a little bit after that, another tech shield went up. And so Precision pulled back their dinos. And when Precision pulled back, the purple haters spawned in a few gigas, from what I understand, and started their attack. And then during the downtime after the push on their fob went bad, I was asleep, unconscious from passing out, trying to get back in. And that's when push 4 may have happened. Not entirely sure. But at that point, they definitely killed everything I had left. So what I had left, as I said, were weight Quetzals. I had a Rex left and some Ankylos, but whatever viable dinos I had left at this point were pretty much gone. So all I'm left with now is like 1 or 2 RGs. I still have some of my Kibble Farm Quetzals, and I have 2 weight Quetzals that were actually hidden away at this point, but they're not really useful since they're weight Quetzals and their HP is like 7,000 and 8,000. So don't really, well, it does come to last stand eventually, but I do end up storing those somewhere else other than the base, since I do plan to survive this somewhat. And so that leads to this push 5. And so at this point, I am just kind of done I'm just like, game over, man, game over. So I had woken up from my long slumber. I think I got about 4 or 5 hours. Woke up to push 4, and then started somewhat trying to reawaken my base, bring some life back to it, and started reactivating turrets, placing down generators, getting gas going, and trying to find any ammo I could and get them into some turrets. But while I was doing that, I guess I was spotted flying around, and I was using one of my kibble Quetzals to do that, and it ended up getting, I don't know, it shot like 4 times and it died. The thing only had like 900 HP. And so, and as far as my kibble farm Quetzals, it may or may not be pertinent, but I played nothing but food, because kibble farm does not need HP. It does not need weight. What they need is food, so you don't have to feed them over and over and over. So again, these were like level 15s and 20s back probably before the redwoods were even introduced into Ark. So they were definitely old kibble Quetzes, and so it definitely got murdered very quickly. And so evidently when PvP ensued, since I did end up getting some kills, I guess I pissed them off, and so they came to my base with 2 Brontos and a Quetzal and just started blowing stuff up. So at this point I was kind of like, okay, GG, just going to enjoy the show. Wasn't really too sure what they were coming to the base for, other than to just like blow stuff up. And then they started killing my kibble dinos and the north portion of my base, which were pretty much just Carnos and Stegos. Now they were not usable, as I left them on aggressive, and so when my base went into a non-combat zone and people left the area, those Carnos and Stegos started phasing through the pen they were in, and so they were stuck in the ground and walls. And so even though they were there and on aggressive, they were pretty much useless, as I would have to demo or destroy my base for the enemy in order to get them free, just to have them die. So it wasn't worth it. So I pretty much just left them there, and then they ended up being murdered, as you see now. And so I was just like, okay, just going to sit back. I'm going to watch this. Just going to watch my base take this hit. You're on your own base. It's been fun, but I'm tired. I'm weary. The enemy has come again, and I have no strength in my arms. I'm so weary, base. So tired. And then that happened. Your tribe's auto turret killed charge, level 92. So I'm like, okay, how did that even happen? They have 2 Brontos there. Nobody should be dying to any turrets. In fact, I'm not even sure that any of those ground turrets had any ammo left. So I am still confused to this day as to what turret he ran into, or they ran into, that was still viable on and had ammo. So at that point I was like, alright base, if you're still killing, if you're somehow still killing these guys, alright, I'll continue to fight. And so, reinvigorated by this newly found vengeance, or thirst for vengeance, I decided, okay. So I went through and tried to assess what dinos I had left. And I was like, okay, I still have RGs. They're crap RGs. I used most of my RGs, as you saw earlier, to try to kill Rexes, which did not go so well. These RGs were tamed, I think. Some of them were tamed before the 1.5 difficulty increase. So these were cap tames of 120. So these weren't even 150 tames. And so I was like, okay, some of them weren't even 120. Some of them were like 116, 112. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to give it my best shot. And as you can see there, I have my 2 Quetzals hidden away on the top. Those are my pride white Quetzals. But again, their HP is not good. And I kind of wanted to keep them alive. And so I was like, alright. And my main goal in this situation was to try and pick them and drop them into my plant species X. So those were still viable. They still had the ability to do damage to people. But all of my auto turrets were pretty much drained except for the ones on the very, very top of my base. And then those only had like 50 to 100 ammo in them. So again, wasn't really too ready to try and throw them up there. And as we can see, they were like, what? This guy's still trying to fight? And so they got on their Brontos and we kind of like taken back, I guess. And so I tried to pick some of them. Did not end up going very well for me, as I am naked for the most part, other than like a club. And I'm riding on a very non-battle-esque Argent. But I make do with what I got. And so in between, while they were raiding my north portion of the base and killing my Kibble Stegos and Kibble Karnos, I did take some of the ammo from the top and tried to strategically place it on the south side of my base. So while they were busy in the north, I tried to place it in those towers on the south, which do come in handy a little bit. And I did end up placing them on the east side outer portion of my base. I put about 50 in each turret on the outside of the base, which do come in handy later. So it was a pretty good move to do that. And so right now I'm just trying to pick and hopefully get a lucky kill, but it looks like they are fully kitted, definitely have grapples, and I just get one-shotted by a Bronto, which does not go so well for me. So I'm like, okay, round 2, that didn't go so well, let me try that again. So I'm going to jump on another of my last 2 remaining RGs, and I'm like, alright, maybe I'll get picked this time, you know, maybe they won't just one-shot me with their Brontos because I'm not wearing any armor. Even though Brontos can one-shot you off your Argent. That's really weird. How did that? When did they change that? I don't know. Was that always a thing? Anyway, so I start being more tactical and start flying around, and it looks like they're taking one of the Brontos to the south portion or southeast portion of my base to start draining turrets. Evidently, they noticed that some of them had turrets in them, some had ammo in them. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get some of the guys still inside the east building off guard. And so I'm trying to battle my stamina with my inner rage, trying to be like, get one, just get one. Get one kill at least. And so I'm like, all right, this is it. I see him running around. I'll get him. I'll go in and get him. I'll come from the other side. They won't see this coming. And whoop, wait, I almost got trapped under my own ramp. What's this? And so I'm just going to, periodically try to land, get stand back, and go back and try to fail at picking them. It does not go so well for me. And so, it's a battle between getting stuck on their Brontos and stuck on my own stuff. But my recently placed ammo seems to be doing its job, as they are not expecting new portions of my base to now be active with some ammo. I did get picked there, but wasn't picked for too long. Just going to go around and be like, come on, just get one pick, drop one guy. But you know, the auto turrets are doing their job, so I'm okay with that. If my auto turrets are still murdering, my base is still killing, that's fine with me, even if I am failing at getting some picks. So I shut this behemoth gate door and I trap a guy on the outside. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give him this time. Nope. And then he just disappears. So I'm like, okay, where did this guy go? So I'm trying to get the saddle, as you saw, or if you saw before, the Argent, one of my 2 remaining Argents, one of them doesn't have a saddle. So I was like, okay, I'll just get the saddle off of that dead one and put it on the one up there in case this one, or when this one dies too, because you know they're not gonna live. None of them live. And so I put the saddle back on my other Argent, and then I just returned to attempting at picking these guys. And so that guy's back. He's like, oh, where did that guy on the origin go? Yada yada. And so it looks like the Brontos are now fully invested in trying to tank the 50 or so ammo I put in those turrets. Little overkill. I think you could have tanked it with a Quetzal even. Or maybe just a guy with a riot shield, or even just a normal shield. And so I'm like, okay, go ahead, do your I don't know why you're swinging your tail. It's only me here. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to open these gates just so I can stay low to the ground. That way it could try to get an easier pick on the guys running around. But I miss. And so, you know, got to get that stem back. This RG is definitely not a battle Argent. Definitely not as much stam, melee damage, and HP as it needs. So I try to go, and the Brontos are one-shotting me, so that's curious. And then, well, nope, they definitely one-shot me, but after I got picked. And so after my failed 2 attempts, I was like, all right, I'm going to go on foot, and this ended up happening. I ended up getting clubbed. And so my guest decided to take me on a little walk. And he was like, all right, let me go show you our renovations and show you what we've done to your place. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't have a choice of this. And so he takes me around a little bit, and then he starts taking me to the woods. I'm like, wait, why are we going into the woods? What are you going to do to me? Don't take me into the woods. And so we took a little tour through the woods, and I guess he just brought me out here to see some scenery. Wants to show me the wildlife, the trees, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. But it looks like the Brontos are inside taking out my plant species X. I guess they're tired of dying to my base or being blinded. And so I'm just out here with my guest here. And he's just like, yo, let's go on a little walk. And so we leave the trees and start heading back towards my base. I guess he wants to show me the new renovations. And I'm like, okay. And then he just leaves me there, and I'm like, why? Where'd you go? You can't just leave me like that. We were having such a good time. And then he comes back. And so then he takes me back to my base, and I guess I'm looking around at the new renovations. He fully knocks me out with the club, and so I guess he just wants to make sure I'm fully rested. He must know that I got very little sleep during this whole endeavor or raid on my base, and so he just wants to make sure I get full revigoration in my body. And so about to wake up, and I'm like, okay, you're just gonna let me wake up, fine then. And so I teleport from place to place for a minute there. If you saw in the split second, it's really weird when I woke up where I was when I got knocked out, and then teleported somewhere else. But I start running around, and so I'm like, okay, you want to play the club game? Because I was just running around before trying to get some easy knockouts at the club. And I was like, all right, we'll play this club game. And the club I was using before I got knocked out, it was just the Mastercraft I had on me. Actually, no, I think I lost that. I don't know what club I had on me, but I was just a real crap club. I think it was like 158% melee damage at the time. And so I was like, all right, just follow me, get away from my special vault, because I did not want them to see where I was getting good loot from, in case they're like, oh, he still has some stuff in this vault, and then they blow it up. So I was like, all right, just follow me. And then once I was sure the guest was no longer interested in chasing some poor little helpless pleb around, that I was able to get into my special goodies vault and get a club out. And it looks like he left me alone. And so I'm like, all right, time to get my club. And so I get a decent club, and I go to work. Come back here, friend. You took me on a little walk. Now I'm going to put you to sleep. And he goes, oh, thank you for this stuff. And then, you know, of course, can't just leave him out. And yep, thanks, buddy. And so another friend tries to come out, and he's like, yo, you just killed my friend. I'm like, no, follow me. And so he follows me, and I'm like, you done goofed. And so he gets killed by the turrets that I recently put ammo in on the outside of my base. And so I get a little cocky after throwing away their kits, or one kit and then one club. And I try to take on 2 guys that were blowing some vaults up in the top part. and I end up getting clubbed again. And which leads me to this portion of the video where I am now handcuffed. And I've left the audio in because they make some very tempting offers. And so this is actually my first time ever being taken prisoner, handcuffed, and overweighted. So it was a very interesting experience. And, you know, I find myself really liking these handcuffs. These are some good handcuffs. I know it looks like my player character could easily slip its hands out of those giant holes in the cuffs, but they're clearly in there and there's no way for me to escape. And so I'm just going to leave the audio in a little bit and we'll just watch my guest try to make some very tempting offers to me. And I also learned that you cannot do emotes while handcuffed, which is truly unfortunate. I just wanted to share my true appreciation for my guests. Didn't want to be a terrible host, you know. And I wasn't going to say anything, mostly because I do not like to participate in the thing that is arc drama evolved. So when I'm fighting an enemy or there's an enemy attacking me, it's usually radio silence across the board. And so my friend here, Khan, give me your stupid purple base. So I guess he must be, I don't know, a purple hater. I don't know why he doesn't like the color purple. It's not a terrible color. And then he says, and he'll let me free. And so, you know, that's really tempting. But I like these cuffs a lot. And so if they let me keep the cuffs, I think I might actually do it. These are really good cuffs. I mean, look at the craftsmanship on those cuffs, and look at that guy's wolf head. I mean, that's something too. But those are some really awesome cuffs. I mean, I would trade my purple base for cuffs like those. But again, I don't like to participate in Arc Drama Evolve, so I just keep to myself and like hanging out with my guests.
Give us your purple base, merge with us, and it set you free.
Again, they want me to merge, but only if they let me keep these fantastic pair of cuffs. I mean, they are just super awesome. I don't think I would ever fight. I don't even think I could craft cuffs like these. I mean, even if I had a character with the new crafting skill, which wasn't in at this point, I don't even think a character of max crafting skill can make cuffs these good. Or this good, I should say. And so my friends run off. You know, I guess they just want to look at their new renovations they've done. So they're free to go ahead and do that. I'm not really in a position to try to prevent it. So, you know, I don't want to be a terrible host as well. So, of course, I'll just let them have free reign over whatever they want to go see at my base. And so it looks like they blew up some refrigerators. An interesting choice. I guess they were curious of what was inside. Now, my friend Ken here seems to think my eggs suck. Now, I pretty much would disagree with that. Not that they suck, but they had a very specific use, which will be apparent in one of my later videos. But, you know, I think they were very useful. So even if they weren't the best levels, they definitely came in handy. And so that pretty much ended the interesting parts. And so he just went back to making sure I got a good rest, because clearly they have kept me up for a very, very long time during this raid. And they must know how weary and tired I am. And so they just keep me around, fed, narked, and those are some really nice cuffs. I mean, I'm really thinking about merging my base if they let me keep those cuffs. It's just, I mean, look how well they go with my attire. The whole fresh spawn, somewhat nudist, just perfect with the cuffs. It just, yeah, very interesting. It's a good offer. I think I should take it. But only if they let me keep the cuffs. I'm totally not hinting at anything here. What's this? What just happened? He's feeding me narcs? No. Wait, they took my cuffs. Who took my cuffs? And so I was like, okay, guess, let me show my appreciation for you coming by, and I don't want to be a terrible host, but I'm gonna need those cuffs back. So of course I immediately go to my vault and I need to get a club, and so I'm like, okay, time to go clubbing. And so I start running around and knock one guy out, but don't manage to get both of them. Start getting chased by one of the guys and got killed. And so, you know what? That kind of sucked. And so I started running around and they were paying attention to me again. So I couldn't really get into my vault of goodies to get another cuff. Or I really wanted those cuffs to get another club. And so I ended up dying again and was able to get into my vault once again to get another club. And my turret killed a random, I think. I'm not sure who that guy belonged to. But his tribe name was Fan of Bucky, so I think I know whose side he was on. Not that I'm not a fan of Bucky, but anyway. I just pretty much end up running around on the bottom trying to find somebody. So at this point, they pretty much all bail. They still leave a Bronto at my base. And I'm kind of like, where is everybody at? But it turns out that one of them may have messed up a little bit. And then a Rex came and ate me, which was not very nice. And so I start running around again, trying to see where everybody's at that isn't on a Rex or mounted. And so I decide to go up to my top part of my base. And I start looking around, and they did not get into that vault. And they've killed some of my... What is this? What? What is that over there? What did I just see? As I try to get around my dead, lifeless corpse of my recently deceased tames. And what? Oh, you done goofed, boy. You done goofed. So evidently my friend Ken here DC'd. Oh, poetic justice, Ark, you cruel mistress, you giveth and you taketh. So we can all see where this was going to lead. I gave my very best friend here, Ken, a pair of handcuffs, not as spectacular as the ones they gave to me, but close. And so I didn't want to be a rude host, and so I wanted to give him all the refreshments and food he could have needed. And so I just want to point out, this was not a real attempt at trying to cage him. This was just, I just found it so amusing the turn of fate between us. The captor became the captive, and so yeah, we just hung out together until his inevitable escape or rescue. And so while we were together, I just wanted to make sure he had great accommodations, you know, a nice bamboo floor. It was really good for the back, a little small, but that just makes it cozy. You know, we're just waiting for one of his friends to show up. I decided to jump in with him and, you know, just decided to feed him a little bit. Wanted to make sure he got the best cuisine at my my abode. And his friend comes right about now. In glorious fashion, I'm just gonna feed him up. And we are back. So I've gone ahead and re-equipped my cloth attire since I feel this better suits my current situation. So I'm just going to jump on my Quetzal here and fly around my destroyed base and say a few things. But first and foremost, I have to give a shout out to Zunit and everyone from Precision, and a shout out to PepperJC and everyone from Carebears that came and helped me defend my base. You guys are super awesome for doing that, and I thank you for it. And it was a pleasure to fight beside you guys. So that leads me to the topic of why was my base in particular being hit? And really the only definitive answer to that question is wrong time, wrong server. Really, that's all it boils down to, in my opinion. But that may not be an adequate answer for a lot of you. So I'm going to try to explain to the best of my ability what exactly led to the ongoings and the reasons for my base being attacked. But really, it all boils down to wrong time, wrong server. So this may not be 100% accurate information, as I do not follow mega tribes, who they're at war with, who their allies are. Sometimes I catch some highlights on Reddit or see a YouTube highlight video of certain servers being attacked or wipes and such, but I really don't follow everything that goes on with the mega tribes in Ark. Now, after saying that, I'm going to try to explain how I got involved in these mega tribe battles. So, from my understanding, a tribe called Carebears and a member of theirs called PepperJC went to war with a tribe called Spartans, and the ally of power or alliance of power or whatever their alliance was calling themselves went to war with each other. So Carebears and PepperJC versus Spartans and their alliance of power. And so how does that involve me, you say? Well, the server I play on, the alpha, happens to be a tribe called Precision, and their leader is a guy named Zunit, which is friends with a guy named PepperJC, which is part of Carebears, and you see where this is leading. Zunit, like the cool guy he is, went to go back up his friend, as I've heard it said, ride or die. So Zunit went to go help Pepper, which means Precision went to go help Carebears, which led Spartans and their alliance of power to come to this server. Now, they did not come to my base first. This is not their first attack. Now, from what I understand, they did in fact start their attack off on this server. Now, before they attacked this server, I did get a heads up from a Precision member saying, hey, there might be some stuff going down, keep an eye out. And I did not fully understand that warning at the time. I just assumed that they had pissed some other tribe off on a different server and there was going to be some tribe versus tribe attacks. I did not fully comprehend the massive effort that was going to be going on in these mega tribe battles. So they did end up attacking the server, and then that's when I fully started to understand when they capped the server out 70 out of 70, and their first attack was on Precision. They were attacking Precision's OP iceberg base, which is the island on the top northwest part of the map, or 1010, or as it's affectionately called, OP iceberg. And so to do that, they start attacking the blue obelisk and set up a fob just north of blue ob, and are trying to swim their dinos to OP iceberg. But because the server was capped, and because Ark is a tremendous game trying to accomplish a lot, and what they have going on and what they're trying to do with this game, 70 people on a server, all the dinos, all the bases, it is truly a wonder that the game even works at all. But there are some issues when it does get pushed like that. For one, the attackers dinos, or Spartans dinos, that they're trying to swim from blue obelisk that they ported in to OP iceberg were drowning, and the defenders, Precision, Zunit, Pepper, and Carebears, were defending it, sniping, and yada yada. So the attackers ended up losing their dinos, or a lot of their dinos from what I understand. I did not participate in this battle. I was on at the time. I really did not know what was going on over there. I was at my base, and 2 of my Dimetrodons did end up drowning in the water. I was a little confused about that, but then I went over to the 3rd one in the water, and its oxygen was going down, so I immediately got it out of the water. And so from what I understand, the attackers dinos were also having that same issue, where unridden dinos were in the water drowning. And so they lost their dinos, and then the defenders went and wiped their fob. So their 4 base operations got wiped at that point, and the attackers left the server. So at this point, from what I understand, may or may not be accurate, they then went to Carebears Center server and Carebears Island server. And then from there, I did not get any more updates from the war, other than sometimes opening up a stream or two and watching that. Some of the enemy streams and some of the allied streams. And so that then leads to them, from what I understand, not really getting anywhere on those servers. And so they came back here. And when they came back, I was off in the ocean, as I talked about earlier, taming some dinos, just narked up a plesio, and got a heads up, or a warning, that a fob was being set up at this location over here on that cliff face, just west of my base. And I went, oh, that's not good. And so I immediately swam up to the surface, jumped on my pterodon, and started flying to my base. And then I got another warning. There's some dinos or some brontos marching towards your base. So then that's when the video begins. I had just gone to my base probably 5 minutes before they attacked, and what you saw at the beginning was the preparations I was able to get done before they attacked, which did not go so well for me. And so that is pretty much how I got involved. So they pretty much, as I said, it boils down to wrong time, wrong server. Even though I was technically at 3rd wheel and all this, I still somehow got involved. But whatever, it is what it is. Ark is one of those games where if you play on a PvP official server, you will, in fact, eventually get messed with or attacked, yada yada. Now, my base has been attacked many times before, but never on this scale. In fact, all in all, this is exactly how I wanted my base to go down or be attacked. Now, they are going to be releasing the game pretty soon. And I've seen a Twitch interview. I can't recall exactly who the developer was. But in the interview, the developer gave his opinion that the servers should in fact be wiped on release. Now, I don't know. They've stated before that they're not going to wipe. But that was his opinion on the matter, that it should be wiped on release. Now, my base has been dead to me for quite a while, and this is why right here. Too many nearby structures. So, of all the times my base has been attacked, even this time included, nothing has hurt more. Or in fact, even when I get attacked, I really don't care that I get attacked because it inspires me to build better, build bigger, tame more. It just inspires me to play the game when when at least I get the feeling that there is a presence that is out there to try to destroy me. But the physics update they did. Yeah, we'll just ignore that cut right there. Sometimes you gotta do some cuts. Anyway. As I was saying, Wildcard's physics update, I don't truly understand what was broken or what they fixed, but my general understanding of it is some structures that were not connected to the main structure are directly attached, and structures nearby weren't counting towards the structure limit. That's my vague understanding of it, but as soon as they did this update, my base was pretty much done for. And that update was done a little bit after I had just done my 3,800 hour tour video. So I did have plans, even though my 3,800 tour video, I felt my base was complete. I just had a little touch-up plans for increased defenses, some double layering. I was going to double layer walls and whatnot. But because of this update, really, no matter what anyone could have done to my base, Wildcard hurt me the most at this, because I feel like even though I understand it is necessary since performance, what in the world's ... the almighty ... since server performance was lacking, that I wasn't able to build as freely or as defensively, and my initial plans for building were kind of put in the back seat. But then my base was attacked, not this time but another time, and holes were punched into this, which I'll go over in a different video. But because my base was attacked and that hole right there was from the previous attack, I was inspired to try to fix those holes, and so I ended up deleting a lot of my base in order to try to allow myself to have the right to build again on my base. And then after getting the ability to build and repair some of the damage, I wasn't able to fix a lot of the interior holes like this one, and there was another hole right here that was done in the attack before, but I was able to fix the gate they had blown before in the door. And after that, I was again motivated to build these outer buildings or satellite buildings, which was going very well until the building structure range or limit, or the limiter, started to catch up to my outer buildings before the destruction of some of the surrounding areas. As you can see there, the too many structure limit was being imposed about 2 ceilings deep on each of these outer satellite buildings. So again, I was pretty much getting to the end of what I was capable of building, simply because of the limits imposed on me. Again, I understand that the limits have to be there or the game just isn't going to be functional. And as it was, my base was already extremely laggy and huge frame shudders when leaving and exiting my base, as you saw in the video. So yes, getting raided sucks, but when I get raided, I'm usually inspired to build better, build more, tame better, tame more. But because of game limitations, because the game is constantly changing, my base was pretty much all in all done for me, other than the satellite buildings I was building. I did have additional plans, wasn't quite finished with those before I got attacked, but it is what it is, and so nothing really I could do about it. But being attacked was loads of fun, and if my base was going to go down, which my base has faced, I don't even know how many times my base has faced utter obliteration. And so for it to go down like it did, this is exactly how I would have wanted it. And so all I can say is thank you, Wildcard, for making this game. And as a dev once said in an interview, he hopes people play the game because they like the game and not because they have stuff in the game. And that sentiment I could totally relate to, as I do in fact play the game because I love it, and not because I have stuff in it. And that's really my mentality with this project itself. Now that's going to lead me into my tribe log in a minute to try to explain that, since you've seen me open it multiple times. And so I am a solo player, but I am not adverse to teaming up or tribing up. Now this base particular, I loved building it solo. I loved farming it solo. Farming with an Ankylo and a Quetz on a platform was almost therapeutic to me. Just going up to the metal nodes and just breaking in with the Ankylo, jumping off onto the Quetz and back and forth was literally almost therapeutic to me. I would just play music in the background and farm. That's literally what I did, and I enjoyed it. And then I would bring those resources back, put them in my industrial forges, cook them up, and then complete this project. Now this project was, let's just say I was a stubborn prick about it. So there were offers to merge from a previous ally, which I really liked a lot, which is Exorcist. Now, Exorcist was once the alpha of this server, and I liked the leader, Pimp Daddy, a lot. That was his player name, or his other name, which was Bonita, on his alt account, I think. And so I liked this guy a lot. Reasons will be explained in a different video, but let's just say he offered me to join his tribe, and mostly because I'm a stubborn prick, I didn't, but part of me really did want to. And so this project in particular, like even the members in my tribe, which are my actual family members, they're mostly in my tribe because they are family, and I would not let them build at all on this base. This was my base. I would told them, if you want to build, go build somewhere else, which in my 1600 hour video I covered that they built that box outside of this base, and we did in fact have some arguments about that, or at least the original builder, which was Fam1 or Leg Day, which we'll get into in a minute. And so he built his little box thing out here, and again I had plans to expand the base, and we got into an argument which I think kind of led to why he didn't play actively after that, because he wanted to extend that box structure he had all the way down the line across my base where this gate would have been. And so again, oh well, I'll explain that in a different video, but this was my project. This was my base. These were my tames. I enjoyed taming, not necessarily taming to have. I just enjoyed taming gigas, which there will be a giga taming montage coming out. And so them dying really is a end to the enjoyment I already had with them. I didn't tame them to have them. I tamed them just to tame them, really. And so the fact that they died for me is even better. since they didn't die to a glitch or they didn't starve to death, they actually had some use other than sitting in my base. So all in all, how this all went down is exactly how I wanted it to go down. So, and I also had some amazing people come help defend my base, even though it was not the easiest thing to do since they did not have access to my doors, or I tried to give them some dinos, but in the chaos of the attack and having very little time to actually prep for defense at that point when they did start their attack, it did lead to a lot of issues. So all in all, I enjoyed how all of this went down. Now to explain my tribe makeup. Okay, so to go over this real quickly, I may give more in-depth explanations in different videos, but this is Fam 1. I miss Leg Day. No longer actively plays on this server since the old days when I started with him. This is Dark. This is actually Fam 2. I haven't covered him yet. I've already covered Fam 1 in my storytime videos. Fam 2 is going to come later in my videos. He didn't play for too long. He saw that Fam 1 and I were playing, and so he wanted to join. He's in his own group by himself. Doesn't have admin for reasons I'll explain later, but they are legitimate reasons. Fam 1 and I want to say, are the same skill level, and I trust him a bit more than I trust Fam 2, mostly because Fam 2 is his own worst enemy, not because I don't trust him, but I don't trust him to trust himself, if that makes any sense. So yeah. And then I had a single character in here, which was both owner and my main character at the time. So it was just the three of us. It was my main character, it was Fam 1 and Fam 2. And then my main character, 2 to 3 days after Scorched Earth came out, Fam 1 and Fam 2 both joined me when Scorched Earth came out. I told Fam 1 about it. I told him it's amazing. We both bought it, even though there was a lot of controversy surrounding the DLC. I totally support Wildcard. I understood a little bit of why they did it. They had a lawsuit issue. But anyway, I got Fam 1 to come join me. Fam 2 saw that. Fam 1 and I were playing again. And so he bought the DLC and we were playing. And so again, it was the three of us. And then the worst thing that I've ever experienced in this game happened to me. I just looted a yellow drop with a ring around it, found a Mastercraft rocket launcher, and tried to take it home to this server. And so when I was transferring out, we had made amazing progress on Scorched Earth. We were doing good. I just made a cannon, just made cannonballs. We were about ready to take down a rock golem. It was about the second day the game had, or Scorched Earth was out, and we were just gonna sulfur tame it. The ×2 event was going on. Arc was on sale. Was having a blast in Scorched Earth. And then when I transferred out, my character uploaded off Scorched Earth, and as I was downloading to the island with my new treasure, my new Mastercraft rocket launcher, I had never even seen a Mastercraft rocket launcher. My best rocket launcher was a Journeyman at like 180 damage. This Mastercraft was like a 250 something before the item nerfs. And so I was like, yes, super euphoric, enjoying Scorched Earth, want to bring home this treasure. And I got 007 error, character failed to upload. And I immediately closed the game. I panicked. I was like, oh gosh, what just happened? Reloaded the game. Went back to the island server, hit the download menu, and there was nothing. And so I immediately, in voice chat over Steam, since we were using Steam for voice chat, was like, my character's deleted. Now, both Fam 1 and Fam 2 thought I was joking at first, and then they quickly realized that I was not when I started to be like, what the heck is going on? So I try to transfer or try to load up Scorched again, try to go there. There was no character there. And my character was both owner of this tribe and owner of the tribe on Scorched. And so that pretty much led to both Dark and Leg Day quitting once again, since they no longer played on the island at all. And they pretty much gave up on Scorched. So I immediately filed a ticket. Waited about 4 days, no response. I made a new character, bought a new account since I did not want to make another character on either my Scorch server or the Island server in case that somehow prevented recovery of my old character, not knowing how or not having any understanding of how the character transfer systems work then. And so I bought a new account. As I said, Arc was on sale, wasn't a problem. It was like $9, and then pretty much had to beg Fam1 or Leg Day to join the Island server, which again I kind of goofed myself. Then I had set up a group for both Leg Day and Dark. Dark was in his own group, Group 9, and Leg Day was in his own group, Group 10. And he had access to everything except he couldn't demo or build and wasn't able to whistle dinos because there had been accidental J whistles of my dinos by Dark a few times. Accidentally, but again, he was his own worst enemy. And so just being a jerk, I took it away from both Leg Day and Dark just because, yeah, I don't know why. And so I extremely limited both of them. And because I had to make a new character, thankfully though, even though I didn't allow Dark to have invites, I allowed Leg Day to have invites because I trusted him more. And so thankfully I did that, and he was able to invite my new character. And it had been 4 days since my old character had been deleted, and so I just pretty much bought the new account to log in, keep generators up, and feed dinos, waiting for a response, fully believing that I was going to get my character back. Fast forward 2 days, I get a response from the dev saying, sorry, we can't help you, your character's gone. Devastated, I tried to reason with the dev, and he pretty much came back to me about a day later with the same response, sorry, tough luck. And so I made this character, Aatrox, and power leveled him and transferred him to Scorch, but I did not give up on talking to the dev. I had a lot of footage and was very confident that I could convince the dev to give me back tribe ownership. I no longer cared about getting my character back. And so I put together an hour-long clip, and luckily I happened to find a post on the forum of another person that had experienced the same issue, and their dev or whoever they were talking to had agreed to give them back their character. So I posted the link of that Steam post and my footage of compilation of clips I'd put together, an hour-long clip, or do you call that a clip? An hour-long video. Plus those two together, the dev agreed to give me back tribe ownership and my character. So what I did there, since this character is on Scorched and this character is on the island, I did not buy Scorched for this character. I made this character on this island. So now these two are on the same account. And so when the dev came, I was on this character, which is now my new main character. So that is this character, which he power leveled back to the level I was at the time, which was 97. And then I asked him to give ownership to my alt account, which was this character. And so he did that. So now I had ownership back, and then I removed the Leg Day from the group that he was in, made a main group, and then gave him admin, just so I was never in that situation again. And then to make double sure I was never in that situation again, I had my alt with the ownership of it, just in case something weird or unexplained ever happened to my main character again, where it somehow got deleted, even though I no longer transfer, since I now have this character on Scorched and this on the island and this on the island. And I also ended up buying another Scorched DLC for this character. So, and that again, even though that one's not in the tribe, in this tribe, even though it was at one point, I power leveled it here. So I have this account has a character here and on the same Scorched server, and this character's on the Scorched server. Technically, I could kick this character, but I'm not going to, just in case I ever needed to bring it here or whatever. And then this is my main. So that's pretty much the makeup. This is an alt account that has ownership, just for backup reasons. This is my Scorched character. This is my main character. And yeah, this is Fam 1 and this is Fam 2. Both no longer play either on Scorched or on this server. And again, even if they did play on this server, as I said before, I told them if they want to build, they're gonna have to build somewhere else, as this is my base, boy. And so yeah. Now that leaves me in a precarious situation about the future. As I said, I demoed a lot of stuff. So from my 3800 tour video, this area was pretty densely filled of structures, but I had to delete all of them and able to build again to repair the damage from the raid before this one. After they broke some holes, as I said, I was motivated to try to build a better base. And so that leads me to this now, which is coming to the end of this explanation. What are my future plans? So release is coming soon. And with that, the uncertainty about whether or not there's going to be a wipe. And so it's about 2 months. So the main structure is pretty much gone. I can try to salvage it, but in doing so, I'm going to need to destroy all of the outer satellite buildings to the ground. And then I'm going to need to butcher this place even more, since it's pretty much gone anyway. I'm going to have to take out this outer double wall in most parts, and then take out all the electrical. I'm definitely going to have to take out so I'm just going to have to butcher everything. Going to have to tear down the structures and then rebuild this to a certain extent to where I'm happy with it, and then just leave it as a bare bones, which is what I tried to do after the first raid of this place. Is just tear it down to its basic necessities and then go full satellite. Or I could just tear that whole center structure down and go full satellite. Now both of those, I'm really not sure on what I want to do or how I want to do that, but my main issue is not that I'm done with this base. It's that, can I accomplish that within the 2-month period before they wipe, if there is a wipe, or would it be a wasted effort to even attempt that? So with the uncertainty of whether or not there's going to be a wipe on release, I'm not really sure what to do. I want to continue building, I want to build it better, but I don't know if that would be a wasted effort or not. So I'm gonna have to wait a few days, maybe a week or two. I'm probably most likely going to put the outer walls back up, these walls right here. I did butcher some of these myself, some of the outer walls, to get metal during the attack and to make spikes with them. So it shouldn't be too hard to replace those. Again, it's just very iffy on what exactly my situation is right now and what the future of Ark is and what the future of this base is. Again, I honestly didn't think I was going to be building on this base at all. Well, I can't build on this base. Continuing building this base after my 3,800 hour video, but I did kind of get a bug after it did end up getting attacked, and so I was motivated to build pretty good. No, I wouldn't say pretty good. I was able to build very PvE structures. That might be a flaw in my building plans on a PvP server, since I usually build the structure then the defenses, instead of how you should do it is build the defenses then the structure. That way when the structure's done, you can immediately put defenses on and not have a giant beautiful target for people looking. Well, actually there's not really much to gain. It's just for people that want to see the world burn. Look, that a giant building only has 14 turrets on it. Let's go drain those real quick. But as you can see, I had plans to make turret walls that didn't end up reaching completion. But oh well, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry over spilt plans. So yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching, and I think I'll just add a little bit more to the end of this video. So ends this video, and all I have to say is thank you for watching, and I hope you liked it. And now comes a new quest, a new land, a new place to evolve on Ragnarok.